can stop me. I'm all the way up.
What's going on, beautiful people? Thank you for returning back to my channel, The Root Wave. In this episode, I have Joe Hill. Joe, please say hello and tell us how we can contact you and find you, please.
What's going on, world? First of all, shout out to E for getting me on here. You can find me on Instagram at thisis_Joe_Hill. Also, we're on Comedy Come Up, Comedy_Come Up 365. You can find me.
Now, Joe, I have you on the channel today, and I apologize. I should have told you before I started. I'm going to read verbatim what you told me in the text. You said,
Okay.
I have a music and comedy platform that moves around and travels nationwide. That's awesome. It makes sense because first of all, just creatively to me, that's inspiring. Secondly, as a former business owner, multiple business owner, and someone who loves business, that just makes a lot of sense as well. So
I appreciate it, man.
I want you to kind of dive into this a little bit and just kind of dissect it and bring it out to us, so that way, not only one, we get inspired, but two, start to follow you, and then maybe even inspire others around the world, the country, to kind of do the same thing, because I think this is a great way to help others express themselves. That's kind of how I see it overall, right?
Oh, I got you. I mean, the best way to start this is the word itself. The brand is called The Come Up. The Come Up 365, and when you really look at that, you never stop really coming up. I don't care if you're a comedian, musician, artist, entrepreneur. You're never going to stop growing and improving. So the Come Up was something that it was always been something I would develop and had ready on my shelf. I say my shelf, but that's like something that we keep our ideas on and we kind of, work it over time. So yeah, I went from doing live shows, hosting and producing these comedy and music events. And then I started to, and I said to myself, yeah, we have people coming to the shows. And again, we're based out of Harlem and we do a lot of shows in the Bronx and Brooklyn and things like that. But it didn't have its own identity outside of the show. I tried to, the live shows that you come and see. So I decided to put my resource together. Again, I'm a working artist as well. I work in the Board of Education by day. And I just saved my own money and put it back into the brand. And how we did that was we start going to these cities that we have resources in, almost like if you could think of places that people in, whether it's music or comedy. And then once you have those artists, now you have the base or the premise of your show. Now you just got to put people in the seats, find the venue. And a lot of times when you're trying to find a venue somewhere, you got to wait for someone to hit you back and things like that. So Peerspace, if anybody's watching, is a good way to, if you already have your production together, you can pretty much go to any city and pretty much get a loft, a gallery, or anything of that nature. But yeah, taking it around different cities, and we've already filmed in Oakland, San Francisco, Boston, the DMV area. For those that don't know what DMV, that's the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And we recently just came back from North Carolina in August. So, we're just finding our way. And if anybody's watching and wants to see this, we're on YouTube, The Come Up 365, and you can see our 12 episodes and kind of see what it looks like to travel. You run into things with booking your event, and it kind of gives you that, that first eye lens of going on the road, what it takes to connect, to put the show together. So it just gives you its own identity. So that has really taken on its own thing of its own.
Right. Now, Joe, I saw some of those videos. They're very well produced. Are you doing them?
I am directing and producing it, but there is a man that is killing. His name is Felix Rodriguez. He is on social media at Faye Films, and that's PHEPHILMS, and he's not only just our cameraman. Sorry about that. Not only our cameraman, but he's also, how can I say this? He's one of our executive producers that really has a vision for this. So it's not just come shoot with us. It's no, we want your vision in, and how can we make this look the best? So thank you, man. Shout out to Fee Films, man.
No, yeah, it looks really well done. It looks all put together. Now, I also noticed that you do stand-up. Were you doing that? Were you doing that before you decided to do this?
No, actually, how I got into stand-up is I went to a comedy show on a date, and you're sitting back and you're like, I could host a comedy show. I don't really got to tell any jokes. And then I found myself hosting shows and producing big events. And as a writer at heart, I said, no, you got to grow as a comedian. So it went from hosting and producing to, oh, now it's time to write my own material. And within the last 7 years, I've definitely built my own content, which is my truth, though,
Right.
for stand up. So
Right. So how do you even find this talent to put together these shows that you do?
it's funny because sometimes talent finds you.
Right.
Being at shows and you see somebody up on stage, and I think you just approach them from a professional standpoint. You know,
Right.
you explain what the situation is. A lot of times, there's some new comedians, there's some veterans, but you find a way to approach them and find a medium. A lot of times in the game, and a lot of people don't know this, you got to put your time in.
Hmm.
Take free spots, do free shows, and get your name out there. And then when you get to that point, then you can deserve a paid spot. But a lot of it is just, getting yourself out there and networking with folks until you get that paid gigs calling. So
Right. And you don't do just comedians, you do music acts too as well, right?
yes,
Yeah,
so
that's beautiful.
it's same kind of format.
Mhm.
Comedians, and then you got the singers, songwriters, musicians, even live bands. And it's something about music and comedy that if you do it right, you can put them together in certain showcases. So
Yeah, I agree. What is their response? What is the response of the talent when you meet them, you finally recruit them, and then they do their show, and then it's over? What are they usually saying to you?
I mean, it's always appreciative. People are just grateful. These artists, a lot of these artists don't even have a place to do what they love. So the fact that you put them on a platform where they have a packed house, they're able to network and share their music with these new audiences is dope, and it is for free. And what that shows me also, you take those artists that come and do your shows, and you kind of could see like, whoa, that person needs their own show, or how about I put you on this paid opportunity? So one opportunity leads to another. So they don't know that sometimes, but I'm always watching and saying, oh yeah, it's time. You need to come do your own thing. So, it's important as I'm growing, stand next to these artists and help them grow as well. So
Right. And what is the response of the audience that actually shows up to these events? How's that been?
oh, the audience is great. You'd be surprised how much talent of artists that you probably never even heard of. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So for me, being a fan of music, it's good to see a lot of these talent just hit the stage and you be like, oh my God, I didn't even know they had that in them.
Right.
So it's inspiring for both of us, for them and for me as well as a curator. So
Right. Do you have any issues with not finding talent?
no.
No.
I will say this: when I committed to the Come Up 365, I said I really got to do this shit like every day now because
Yeah.
you're so into it now.
Right.
It's beyond repetitive now, and it showcases it's weekly, bi-monthly, and it's not hard to find talent. You know why? Because social media, it's constantly pumping out talent.
Yeah,
People
it's
are putting
beautiful.
up videos, they're singing, and all it takes is just to give somebody a shot. You know what I'm saying? And you go from there.
Yeah. No. Now, what about the venues? How's
So
that going?
I actually, it's a double-edged sword for me. I actually produce shows at my venues, and also I work at these venues. So Harlem Nights, which is located on 138th and 7th, I've been there for 2 years, and it started with just me doing the show. And the next thing you know, the owner was just like, listen, would you want to do the bookings and kind of do what you do on your Sundays every night of the week? So I said, of course. So then I mean, I could have easily filled up the calendar with Joe Hill stuff, but I kind of fell back into the passing role, the Chris Paul, like just assisting people to come in and, still govern it, but at the same time, help them get their production out. So, you've seen so many people that have come into this space and performed, and now they've gone out and gotten little gigs and, gotten residencies, and it'd be surprised it started at Harlem Night.
I don't believe in coincidences, and I ended up meeting you through a friend. But now that we're talking, I realize that I'm doing exactly what you're doing on a different level because I first started to do this on my own. I was like, I just want to spit into the camera, I finally just say what I gotta say, right? But then you
Right.
realize you're like, there's only so much I could say.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's
So, and I felt like it was almost like a waste of time. And then I realized that a lot of what I like to do is not only inspire others, but also like find out the stories of what other people have to say and what
Right.
their viewpoint and their talents and all that stuff. I'm also into creativity a lot. So then I just came up with the idea of like, I'm just going to start finding people that I find interesting that nobody knows about or nobody's really looking into and just see
Right.
what their story is, because there's always some detail in the story that inspires other people. It may not be the whole story, but even a little detail into it
Yeah.
will definitely spark something.
And it's funny you said it like that too, because we have on Instagram the Come Up 365. Every show I take about a 30-second to a minute video of each artist. And it started off as something small, like, because you want to post and be social and kind of connect, tag the artist. And fast forward 2 years in, I find myself scrolling through the clips, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, we've had this person? Like, I forgot about this performance. But it's a consistency that has helped the artist,
Right.
being that you post it, they have something that they get to post. So yeah, I love helping people. I'm a man of service, and I believe that's my calling always, is helping folks.
Now, if time and money wasn't an issue for you,
Mm-hmm.
how big and what are we looking at in regards to this movement and project that you're doing?
If it wasn't about money or time,
Like if there was no limit to it, like you
if
had
there was
all
no
those
limit
resources.
to it, I would do. You see how Hot 97 does summer jams and these big iHeart festivals?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the artists we know.
Right.
What if we did big, huge concerts about artists that we didn't know? But
Right.
then you got to deal with, damn, who's going to come? Obviously, you find network of people, but it's almost like getting that one celebrity to rock out with these regular local celebrities. Have this headline, but all these local acts open up for the celebrity. So,
But Joe, I'm sorry, just real quick. Now that you're talking about that, you brought up a good point that I'm like, let's talk about the business end. Wouldn't it be just as beneficial to do something like Summer Jam and bring in all these people that we don't know and then charge people like $20 instead of bringing like all these famous artists and then having to charge them $90?
No, see, that's the thing. I would keep it the same price.
Okay.
Because a lot of this industry is relationships a lot of time.
Right.
You'd be surprised
Right.
who you know. So trust me, if it wasn't about money and time, it would be easy to just use your relationship to get somebody to come and do your show. But a lot of it has to do with money and time. So
Right.
that's why they hit you with, I can't do it if it ain't for this amount or this.
Right.
But if it wasn't about money or time, I would have Future headlining and have all the dope artists. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In that regard, or say, yo, Drake, come do my show. And, come close out this show for me. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
people would then be more intrigued by the unknowns,
Right.
So.
All right. So what's next? What's coming up next in regards to your events and your brand?
Right now, staying consistent. We have, we have a lot of weekly shows happening. Our next big move is going to be LA in February, 15th to the 23rd. I'm going to be on the road with some LA artists, some New York artists from the Bronx as well, too. And just kind of putting on some shows and kind of connecting and adding to the web series and doing things like that. But in terms of the long, like 5 years, it's still, I don't want to say where I want to be because I don't want to cap that.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely in a situation where we get some sponsorships and we continue to use these venues all year round. Because once you go to a venue one time and you do well, you can kind of keep that and come back next year same time. So if we can residually make a calendar of events, shows, on the road, sky's the limit for us, and also get the web series. That'll be dope. Get the web series onto a network and really be on the ground with artists in these boroughs.
Right. No, it's good stuff. I'm gonna try something new with you. I usually, every interview that I do, I always ask for an inspirational like send off.
Mm-hmm.
But before I do, I do want to ask you if you would, and it goes with what we're talking about. If you would give me your top 3 people that you're listening to right now in regards to music.
And music?
Yeah, I mean, and don't be scared to share your feelings.
Ready for this?
Yeah, go ahead.
You took it to another place.
Yeah.
So before I can answer that, we have a playlist on Apple Music for the Come Up 365. Now, how this idea came up, I was tired of the local artists not getting that love.
Mm-hmm.
We listen to the Drakes, the Migos, the Hers, all types of dope music that's out. But I said, I'm going to take artists that performed on my stage that have music that's on, like licensed, not on SoundCloud,
Mm-hmm.
not on YouTube. If you put out a record and it's on a streaming platform and you performed in Harlem Nights, you need to be on there. So
Mm-hmm.
I listen to this stuff. I'm talking constantly more than I do regular music.
Mm-hmm.
And we are up to about 5 mixtapes that are out right now. And you can get the links if you go to the Come Up 365 on Instagram. There's a link in that box. All you got to do is click it. If you got Apple Music, it'll open up and you can listen to these artists and get them their streams. And that's the way for them to show love. So, yeah, my favorite music are all the artists that have performed for me right now. And it's more than 3. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, let's talk about the comedians now.
The comedians now, in particular to
Whether you want to shout
Who's
out somebody that you is unknown that you're like, you guys got to check this out, or three
yes,
common names,
you
whichever
got
one
to
you
shout
prefer.
out the Underground Kings of Comedy.
Okay.
It's three dudes right now, all from different boroughs,
Uh-huh.
but they're putting on these comedy productions. They're giving women more platforms to comedians, so to say, place to perform. But just working with myself, doing that. But in terms of individuals right now in comedy, it's a lot. It's a million of them out there. I was with Rob Stapleton in Atlanta. He's a New York veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Wu, he's been in Harlem for years. And damn, if I can name one female right now, Stephanie McCrae, she's doing it right now. She's one of the top ones in New York right now doing it. But it's a million of us, people that would make you laugh that you probably never heard of, you know?
Mm-hmm. Now, before we finish this, it takes somebody with a strong foundation to do everything that you're doing. That's just a fact. There's a lot of business going on, a lot of creativity happening. There's just a lot going on, and it takes somebody with a strong foundation. What made your foundation the way it is to be able to actually accomplish everything that you're accomplishing right now? What do you think that is?
You know, time, because I was doing this. We started this in '07. Then took a break from music, went to comedy. And in 2016, I was in that transition and I was kind of looking at where I wanted this to go. And I said, I've been working for someone else. I have a regular job. But I said, the next 15 years, I need to start working for myself. I need to start. So I got just more discipline. I took myself more serious, took the brand more seriously. And, I just put my feet to the pedal and just, when the ideas come, let's knock them out. Let's get it. So I don't have a big team of people. I have a crew. I have a squad of people that I can count on for certain things. But a lot of this is self-willed. When you're trying to be successful, you're not going to get all your sleep. Things are going to get sacrificed. I don't hang out. If I hang out, it's in my living room on my laptop right now, or if not, I'm at a show. So and I'm a parent. So finding balance. But when you have a passion like that, you got to figure out a way to make it work. Figure out a way to monetize it, monopolize it, and create that legacy. And it's going to take time. It's not going to be easy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Well, that was beautiful, Joe. I really appreciate that because it's just
Anytime,
everything
man.
that
What you're doing is dope, man. What you're doing is dope. I want you to know that.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
proud
I
of you.
appreciate
And
that.
I don't even know you like that, but
Yeah.
I'm proud that you are doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's
For
just
real.
the beginning. It's just the beginning. So I hope to be you when I grow up.
I'm 34. I ain't that old, man.
No, we're the same age then.
Oh, so it's good. You good. You good.
All right, Joe. Well, if you could just give us one more time where we can find you, where should we go check you out? And then after you do that, if you could just give us like an inspirational send-off so that way whoever's watching
Got
can
you.
say, yo, I'm going to do something right now.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram one more time at This Is Joe Hill. One word, This Is Joe Hill. If you're looking for comedy, we are at comedy_come up365. And if you're looking for the live music and live shows, we are at the Come Up 365. If you go to each page, it'll link you to me because I kind of linked them all together. So yeah, I just want to say thank you bringing me on here. And to kind of sum it up like this, if there's any young entrepreneurs out there, I'll leave you with this. You can have all the talents in the world. You can be the funniest. You can have the dopest voice. But if your business is not right, none of that's going to really matter. And when I say business is right, being professional, relationships, learning the game, staying humble, and putting the time in. Being successful is not going to be easy. If you look at the greats, if you look at in sports, whether it's Kobe, Jordan, Tom Brady, any person that has sustained a high level of production, they sacrifice life. Like, I'm being honest. Like, you got to sacrifice it. You know what I'm saying? So that's really all I want to say. If you have a passion, dope. Master your passion, but you need to master the business side of it too, because that's what's going to ultimately catapult you. Yeah, and help others. Give people a chance. That's right. What it's about. Giving people a chance to do what they love. You never know what comes out of it. So
yeah, Joe, I really appreciate you being on the channel. It's
Anytime,
so appreciated. Man. It's always great to have positive energy and talent and wise words being put on this channel, so that way others can get inspired. I really wish you the best of the rest of 2018 and an awesome 2019, because I have a feeling it's going to be an awesome 2019 for a lot of us busting our ass
Yes,
in
sir.
18. So I think it's
I'm
coming.
gonna get you on a web series.
Yeah.
We're gonna do an interview. I
Let's
already
do
got
it.
you in mind.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, Joe. I really
good, brother.
appreciate it. Yeah, and for my audience, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you keep inspiring others and send that message
Support this
along.
brother. He needs it.
Appreciate
We're all in
it.
together.
Yes, thank you, Joe. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys on another episode. Peace.
Take care.
I got which rum. I got short which rum. I got which rum. I got which rum. I got which rum. I got. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way.